Hi there YouTube, this is Daniel back again with another YouTube video. This time is my monthly comic book pull or comic book haul. I picked up about 18 books this month, not counting those I haven't caught up in within the series. So I will pull those together in a separate video shortly, or once I'm up to date on those series. I have the stack right here, as you can see. It's like quite a thick stack, for me at least. So let's just dive into the pile of books and let you know some thoughts about them as well. First up we have Hawkeye issue 3. I think this is the next to last issue in the first arc. It's written by Kelly Thompson and drawn by Leonardo Romero. I really enjoy this series. It's kind of a fun take on the on the character and the genre of private eye or private investigations. Her special ability is her hyper awareness, I believe. She notices every single little detail in a room when she walks into the room, so to say, and she uses this ability to try to solve a disappearance of a client she has. This is gonna be a fun story to see how it concludes in the next issue. So it's a good story so far. Odyssey of the Amazons, issue 2 out of 6. This was a bit better than the first issue, but it's still heavy on the narration, even though the narration exactly just describes what's happening in the pictures or in the panels. They are unnecessary, basically. I have some issues about the story as well, but I won't go into that. Otherwise, the artwork is nice, but it was better in the first issue somehow. I'm not sure where they are going with this. It's not that great of a series so far, but it's a 6-issue series. I had to pre-order the first 3 issues when I put it in my pull list. The solicitation sounded so awesome, so I thought it was gonna be an awesome ride throughout, but it has been a bit of a disappointment so far. So I'll just keep pulling it to see if it gets any better, and I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted each month as it goes. Maybe it's gonna suffer the same consequences as SVG Lambda Southland, who knows. Motor Crush issue 2. This is from the last month, but there was a bit of a misunderstanding with my LCS, so I didn't get it in the month of January, but I got it now in February, and I also got issue 3. The artwork is really nice, but I'm not sure about the story anymore. I'll probably pick it up until issue 5 and then drop it from there and continue with trade reading instead. It's still a good story, but I'm not sure if I want to pull it single issues. I think it's gonna be read in a better format as a trade. Batwoman Rebirth, one-shot, issue 1. After this one, it's gonna be a monthly book, continuing in March, I believe. Or yeah, it's gonna continue now in March. I really enjoyed this. It's a good first issue. It really gives you a sense of who Batwoman is. And yeah, I'm hyped to continue this series. It's great artwork by Steve Epting, and the story by Majorie Bennett and James Tynion IV. It's gonna be interesting to see where they go. I think they're gonna dive deeper into this Night of the Monstermen, or the Monster Serum, or Monster Venom Serum that was in the early crossover event in October, I believe. Wildstorm issue 1. I got the second variant. It's written by Warren Ellis. It's gonna be a 24 issue run, I believe. Indicated here. I kind of enjoyed it, but I couldn't make any sense of the story with this issue. So I'm gonna pick second issue up and the third issue to see where, if it's gonna be something for me. I usually need 2 or 3 issues to get hooked on a series. So yeah, so I can't tell you anything about it because I didn't really get the first issue. I'll probably need to reread it before I read the second issue when it comes out later this month. But yeah, a good artwork anyways. Mother Panic issue 3. Yeah, I have enjoyed the story and the artwork. It's a bit sketchy, I kind of like that, but I think this is gonna be read better in a trade form, so I'll keep pulling this for a couple of more issues, but then I'm just gonna drop it to continue it in trade form instead. The Mighty Captain Marvel issue 2. Oh man, I am not enjoying this. I really like the character. I have read it before in trades, so I figured this was gonna be a great starting point to pick it up in singles. But I have been so disappointed from the get-go, from issue 0 continuing to issue 1, which was a bit better, but I just don't feel for the character in this series. It's just keeping hovering, also waiting to kick off in the next event. This series just left an event with Civil War 2, and it's still just focusing on what happened there and how this affected the character and the characters involved. And I haven't read Civil War 2. I didn't care for the event. I didn't care to pick it up. Probably just pick it up. I will probably pick it up in the future in a trade or something, but I just can't stick with a series that's just waiting for the next event, so to say, which is gonna be Secret Empire. And I'm not picking up that event, so I just didn't feel like picking up the series during the event that's gonna be tightly tied into the event, so to say. So it's a drop for me. Kill or Be Killed. Now we're getting into the series I really liked this month. This is probably my favorite ongoing series now so far, along with Batman Detective Comics. This is just such a phenomenal series. This issue 6, written by Ed Brubaker and drawn by Sean Phillips, and with colors by Elizabeth Breitweiser. I just loved how they expanded upon the world. Before this issue we have been focusing on the main character and some of his closest friends, but now we find out that there's been a cop that has been onto him from the get-go, from issue 1, and I just love how they unravel the story, so to say, with each issue, just giving you a tiny bit more of the context of the story and how the world is and stuff. So yeah, if you haven't read this yet, pick it up in a trade. Keep picking it up, read it digitally, pick it up in back issues if you can. It's just a fantastic series so far. I love the artwork, the story is fantastic, and the coloring complements the art so in such a great way. So yeah, if you can pick it up, it's a great read. Here we have The Old Guard by Greg Rucka and Javier Fernandez, I think. It's a new series from Greg Rucka. I did not know much about it. I just saw this in a solicitation in December, I think. Saw Greg Rucka's name at Image and a new #1. So instantly I emailed my comic shop to ask them to put it on a pull list, and they did. I got it, read it, loved it. It's a great start to the series. It's about these immortal warriors, so to say. They can't die, and Greg Rucka is doing a very interesting thing with that story element, and it's gonna be fantastic to see how it turns out and how it plays out. I hear it's gonna be a 12 issue run or something. Maybe it's gonna go on for a longer time. I hope so. It really shows a lot of promise. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun to see where they are going. The Few, issue 2, by Sean Lewis and Hayden Sherman. I really like the artwork. If you can get behind this scratchy, sketchy artwork, mostly in black and white with some spot coloring, you're in for a really interesting ride. Almost a bit Mad Maxian. There are different factions, and this Northern American wasteland, so to say, in the wintertime, and this takes place in Montana, or what was used to be Montana, with the Few, which is this splinter group, and the Palace, which is the main antagonist in this series, and then you have this outlaw king, so to say, roaming the wilderness, trying to hunt these two brothers and this woman with a child they found in issue 1. And there is a bit of a twist to the story as well. I won't go into that, but it's just a great read so far. I like it, and hopefully it's gonna develop into a fun action-packed series. Mosaic issue 5 by Thorne and Randolph. This picks up right where issue 4 left off. Mosaic is in Amazing Spider-Man's body. He's taken over, and we learn some new aspects to his ability, and he's going after his father. They confront each other on the rooftop. Things happen. This is the end of the story arc. This series have been, I've been wondering if they're gonna turn him into a hero or a villain. It could go either way, basically. But yeah, it's a fun series so far. I really like the aspect of his powers and the limitations that we discover each issue, basically. And yeah, it's a fun series. Hopefully it's gonna go on a bit longer. Hopefully it's not gonna be cancelled anytime soon. It's one of the few Marvel titles I pick up, and one of the few I actually enjoy, along with Hawkeye and the Hulk. Oh, and Invincible Iron Man as well. Trinity, issue 6. This concludes the first story arc. It's nice to see that a story arc can be longer than like 2 or 3, maybe 4 issues. This was a really carefully planned out story arc. I think it's gonna be read better back to back in a shorter time, rather than this monthly run as it had. But it has been a great read so far. I was a bit thrown off in the 4th issue when they introduced Mongol, but it kind of ties in or ties up well in this issue. So I'm gonna be open-minded to a Cullen Bunn's run now. He's gonna write 2 issues, like one of those 2-issue breaks that each Rebirth title has had so far. I think it's gonna be just for Francis Malpole to catch up on art and story, so he can do more art. I love his art. This cover is fantastic looking. Yeah, hopefully it's gonna be fun and fine with Cullen Bunn writing the story, but Francis Malpole is back in issue 9, which is gonna be great to see. And yeah, if you haven't picked it up, pick it up in a trade or a hardcover. I think in May they're releasing the first collected edition of this in a hardcover. Invincible Iron Man issue 4. Fantastic series so far. I really like the character of Riri Williams, even though it would have been nice to see her in her own title before she took the mantle of Iron Man. But I am anyhow really enjoying the series. So I think the next issue is gonna conclude the first arc. I'm not sure, but hopefully it's gonna run for a longer time. But I have my theories about Tony Stark coming back in issue 10 or 12, and she's gonna get her own title as Ironheart at that point. And then we have another relaunch. But yeah, it's a good story, great artwork, fun characters. So if you haven't picked it up, look it up in a comic store near you. Yeah, good story. Frostbite issue 6 out of 6. So this concludes the miniseries from Vertigo by Joshua Williamson and Jason Sean Alexander. I love the artwork. This concludes the story in a good enough way. It leaves it open to be able to be built upon in the future. So they might, if this was received well enough for Vertigo, it might be another miniseries coming soon, or in the fall or something. You never know. There are possibilities for that. So I have enjoyed this as a really good fun ride with some outrageous action sequences and fantastic looking machines and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll see more of this in the future as another miniseries. Hulk issue 3, a great little story, very down to earth. She hasn't hulked out, as this cover suggests. It's a bit of a boring cover, but I have been enjoying the series so far. I really like the aspect of PTSD and how she has this problem with turning into the Hulk again. I think it's about to be more difficult in the next couple of issues for her to stop from hulking out, so to say. So we'll probably see her hulking out in issue 5 or something. That will be probably the conclusion of the story arc as she deals with her post-traumatic stress from Civil War II. Still another title tying into that event. Hopefully this won't tie into Secret Empire, but if it does, I'm just gonna have to go with it. But or maybe it's cancelled, who knows. Curse Words issue 2. I really enjoy this. I have been on the fence a bit about keeping it on my pull list or pulling it in trades, but this ended with a really interesting cliffhanger, which I won't spoil, but it's a fun story. Focuses a bit more on the humor than on seriousness, and as you can see by the cover itself, it's just outlandish, hilarious and stuff like that. So if you're into humorous stories, this might be for you, but I'll probably pick it up in single issues for the first 5 or 6 issues, and then see if I pull it in trade instead. But so far it's been a fun ride, but yeah, we'll see where it goes. The last issue of this haul is Supergirl Being Super, issue 2 out of 4. It's one of those prestige formats. It's square bound and 48 pages, no ads. So it's like a mini graphic novel, so to say. This picks up right where issue 2 left off, and so far it's just a fantastic story. It's not really catered for me, it's aimed at another target audience, but I still enjoy reading it, and I love the artwork by Joelle Jones. The story by Mariko Tamaki is really good, well played out, so to say, and I can't wait for April to come here and deliver the 3rd issue. So this is a bi-monthly title, so if you haven't picked it up, maybe there is an issue at your local comic shop. If you like the artwork you see here on the front page, it's gonna be kind of the same artwork inside, and it's just great. The inks and the pencils by Joelle Jones is just greatness. At least to me, I like it. So that's it. That's my pickups for February, not including those I haven't gotten to read yet. Eventually I will catch up on those and add them to another video, but I enjoyed most of these issues, and I'm excited to see where most of these series are going, and some of them are just gonna be dropped to be picked up in a trade or so. If you liked any of these series, please let me know. Say what you thought about them. If you want me to talk in more depth about these or some of these series, let me know, and I'll probably try to make a video about that. And then thanks for watching.